There's a saying that I was talking to Franny Ford about as well, about how in Galway especially, maybe it's our eternal pessimism in this county, but they say you can't beat Kilkenny twice. Obviously you're going to try and disprove that.
Oh yeah, look, I think that's probably in the punditry media for the last number of years, but look, we alluded to it many times last year, we don't really look in the past or what's going on, and it's always about just the next game again, and no two games, we totally understand that no two games are going to be the same, so, we expect a totally different challenge from Kilkenny in 2 weeks' time, but, for ourselves, just about focusing on our own game and our own performance and trying to get that right on the day.
There's been a lot of discussion around the championship structure, the new championship structure, and how some teams have more rest than others during games, during critical games. What's your own assessment of the championship so far? I know it's hard to say because we're still in it, but so far, how do you feel about it?
Look, obviously, it's going to be very dependent on what kind of draw you get and how many weeks consecutively you're going to be out on it. Like, so, look, it hasn't been too bad for us. Obviously we won all the games, so we're coming away in a positive light. But I think the most challenging thing is for the players. Mentally going from week to week. When you're winning, you take a lot of confidence from it, and so the physical side mightn't be too bad because you have time to recover. But it's just getting up again for another game the following week. I think that has been the biggest challenge. But I've said it previous. I think the powers that be probably will have to look at it afterwards. And look, that's not just my sentiment. I think it's across the board. Maybe to have extended by another week or two, where everybody gets a down week and a chance to take a breath.
What did you make of the Munster Championship? Were you sitting back kind of glad to be watching that rather than being involved in it?
Yeah, look, it's been highly competitive, but I think once this structure was agreed upon, it was always going to be that way, and you knew, unfortunately, there was going to be two big casualties on it, but as I said, we've just been watching from afar, like all the rest of the supporters. It's been really highly competitive. Great games for the supporters, but as I said, there's still three teams moving on from it, which are going to be huge tests and challenges for whoever they play down the road.
It's been quite hard for Galway fans over the years to support the team possibly as much as they'd like to, because all the championship games weren't in the county, they had to travel. Do you think perhaps this is making an impact now on the players, that they probably have more, because winning brings fans as well, but also probably a bit more support at games?
Yeah, look, and I've said this many times, I think this team has built a massive connection with the supporters over the last couple of years, and obviously winning, only enhances that. And I think in terms of the home games this year, I think it was hugely important for Galway to get home games. I think they've been really good to Leinster, and now it's been reciprocated with the home games, and I think that's been really evident in the amount of support that has come out to supporters. There's two huge crowds on both days when Kilkenny and Dublin came, so hopefully that'll continue now into the future.
I don't think I could be accused of lying when I've said over in recent years we've seen a shift in mindset perhaps in Galway teams, possibly even began a little bit before you even arrived, but you certainly cemented it, that they've become harder, tougher, mentally as well as physically. What do you think has brought that change about?
Oh, look, I think that's just testament down to the group of players that we have. I said it after last year's All Ireland. Obviously they've been knocking on the door, but they always showed huge relentless strength to come back and fortitude to come back and be constantly there in the knockout stages. And I think from our own perspective, we've just come in and changed the mindset slightly on one or two things, maybe how we approach stuff. But as I said, that's it. Everything we do is just down to the players, and they're a great group. Very strong, tight group, huge spirit, and highly motivated and wanting more success. So I think it's been evident in our play. We've taken a lot of confidence from last year. We're under no illusion it's going to be a lot bigger challenges down the road as well. But we're in a good place now and looking forward to the next game.
I was in the press box in Wexford Park when you were playing Wexford. I heard one journalist overheard him saying that Galway team wouldn't look out of place in Connacht jerseys. They're big, strong-looking men. Is there any hope for a small, sprightly hurler to get onto your team at the moment?
Look, obviously there's been a lot of dialogue and a lot of stuff written about the lads over the last number of weeks, but we're just very fortunate at the minute, that they're big men, they're very strong, athletic, but most importantly they're all good hurlers.